Ladies, welcome to the video. This is Coach Jerry here, and today I'm going to talk about 5 signs that tells you that you're progressing towards your insulin resistant reversal. Okay, so if you're watching this, chances are you are a woman that you're experiencing difficulty losing weight, and you probably got diagnosed for either insulin resistant metabolic syndrome or that sort of inflammation that tells you that you're going to have a harder time losing weight, first and foremost. But secondly, probably scares you because you feel like you might develop things such as diabetes, PCOS, or other metabolic condition. Now, I'm gonna in a second I'm gonna tell you exactly what are the signs that tells you that you're improving, because you know as well as I do that as much as I was, because I had metabolic syndrome for a very long time. And if you're trying to lose weight and you do everything you should be doing, and you don't see results, it's pretty frustrating. Okay, you do a diet and then you don't see results. You're not sure if you're seeing results, and then you feel like you want to try something else. Now, one thing that you're gonna know now that I'm gonna share the screen is that when you are developing or insulin resistant, or you already have insulin resistant, you are in this sort of situation here. Okay, so if the screen shares, I'm going to show you what I mean by here. So you are in this, before developing insulin resistance, which is very hard to diagnose, by the way, you are always in this state of chronic inflammation. You have chronic infections, then inflammation, and then you develop this yellow area here that is becoming always more red towards diabetes. Okay, so there is insulin resistant first, and then you start seeing blood markers such as cholesterol getting higher, especially the LDL, and the HDL, the good cholesterol, getting low. You see triglycerides, you see that fasting blood sugar always elevated in the morning. And this is kind of like developing slowly towards metabolic syndrome, which for most people, 1 out of 3 American people, is not, they are not aware that they have. Okay, so this is how you kind of like see that you have this thing. So if you've been diagnosed, chances are you constantly watch what you're eating. You always want to eat food, maybe eliminating carbohydrates, getting like eating less food. That in order for you to balance your blood sugar. So the biggest mistakes I see doing all the time is this idea that you want to eat something to get your blood sugar in balance. Okay, you'll see that like it's like saying, let's fix the symptoms, right? We kind of like do something so your blood sugar can stay in balance. You're not gonna fix an insulin resistant problem by you just watching what you're eating and then like hoping that everything stays in balance, right? Because as you see here, which I'm sharing now, the symptoms you have is basically the following. You have abdominal fat, you get increased fat storages. It's harder for you to lose weight due to your hormonal imbalance. You have constant hunger. You have inability to lose weight. You have fatigues after meals, hunger after meals. And therefore, like you understand that there is this imbalance here, right? A lot, especially when you have PCOS or something of that nature. The issue is that you start always in the base with insulin and adrenals, which is cortisol imbalance. And then you develop thyroid issue, and then you develop sex hormone issue, right? So you understand that this is really work that you must do. Now, which has the best strategy is up to debate. You know, a lot of people do well with fasting, with keto. A lot of people do well with moving a lot more, exercising a lot more, and eating more frequently, yet staying within a certain grams of carbohydrates. Now, the thing that I'm talking about today, though, is how do you know that whatever strategy you're doing, you are getting success on? Because if you're not, then you're getting frustrated. But you know, how do you measure that you're actually getting closer to the success? There is 5 signs, and this doesn't have anything to do with you keep constantly measuring your insulin or your blood. Those things, higher blood sugar in the morning could be resulting from hundreds of different symptoms, such as, you know, lack of sleep, which period of your cycle are you in, if you did eat or not eat carbohydrates, whether or not you're stressed. But these 5 symptoms are very important for you to notice. So if you start noticing that you're not hungry after your meals, chances are you are you are reversing your insulin resistance, because that means that chronically now your blood sugar is more balanced, okay? The second one, and this is kind of like, I don't want you to go and get tested every single time, but if every time you do, let's say every 3 to 6 months, you do your blood test and you see HDL, your good cholesterol, going up and your total cholesterol going down, as well as triglyceride going down, chances are you are reversing your insulin resistance as well. Whatever you're doing the right thing. The other one is less sugar cravings and less night cravings, okay? And this is, I'm gonna share with you now. This has to do with these things here, which obviously this thing is also, I found it online, but this is also not very, this is also not right, in a sense that it's not like if you're outside of these ranges here, you're gaining weight, and if you're inside these ranges here, you're losing weight, right? There is fat storage depending on how many calories you consume, mostly on the day. Now, the only difference between insulin resistant and not insulin resistant is that the calorie gap that you're going to need to eat less if you are insulin resistant is higher compared to a person that is not. But if you stay within these ranges here, your hunger, especially from sugar cravings or night cravings, is much more under control. So if you notice that you're getting less cravings in the night, that means that these spikes that you see here are no longer happening, and therefore your cortisol and insulin ratio and adrenal axis, what is called, is now balanced, okay? So this is something that also tells you that you're doing really, really well. Now, the other thing that you find, I'm gonna pull up this image right there, is that if you are getting better in insulin resistance, you use, and this is really kind of like intuitive as well, visceral fat, belly fat is correlated with the insulin resistance. Visceral fat is this fat here that you have within your organs, right? That I don't know why they put here, because this is kind of like more subcutaneous fat, but inside your organs, within your organs, you have visceral fat. So if you're getting this is highly correlated with insulin resistance, right? So if you're getting your circumference, this is why it's so important to stop looking at the weight. I see people looking at weight all the time. You need to take your measurements from your waist and hip ratio, and if you have improvement of those measurements, you are resisting insulin, you are improving your insulin resistance, so you're doing something positive towards that. And last but not least, of course, in women, I mainly work with women, but is irregular cycles. If you have irregular cycle of your monthly cycle, it means that your body is producing more male prevalence hormones, testosterone, and sometimes you have it, sometimes you don't. So if you have a regular cycle, that also means that you are reversing your insulin resistance. So I hope that these tips here, or better say, these signs, give you some clarity on whether or not whatever approach you're doing is working. And if you're struggling still, whatever you're trying and it's not working, I really eager you to comment down below, call or strategy, and we're gonna jump in a strategy session, which means that we're gonna go deep into your specific situation and see what can we do to reverse your insulin resistance, because it's gonna come down from you being able to go deep in your specific case. Most cases are very complex and they do require attention. This is Jerry here. Hope this is helpful. Talk to you soon.